Hello my loves, and welcome back to today's podcast / video. I am trying to kill two birds with one stone today. I'm recording content for the podcast but also content for YouTube, so I can upload this as a video for YouTube, so depending on the type of viewer or listener or how you like to consume content, I'm trying to do two birds with one stone, so that's why there's a video today as well. So if you're new here, my name is Amy. I'm a women's fat loss coach and I am also an evidence-based nutritionist. So everything that I share within my content is backed up by the latest research and science. So there's no nonsense here when it comes to nutrition or fat loss, and there's so much conflicting information out there online that is basically a load of shit, and I want this space to be the space that you can come to and educate yourself and feel empowered with the knowledge that I'm sharing with you so that you can begin your journey. And today's video, I am going to give you the exact steps that you need to take to begin your weight loss journey, and these are the exact steps that I took recently to lose around £10 for a photo shoot that I done, where I got really lean within an 8-week time period for a photo shoot. So I'm going to be sharing the exact tips that I followed in order to get that result, so that you can basically implement them in your life and your routine and start seeing results. So step 1 is to create a calorie deficit. You cannot drop body fat without creating a calorie deficit. So the most simple and easy way to do this is head over to my website www.amyormisha.com. I will link this in the notes below, and click on my free calorie calculator, and this will give you the exact calories that you need to lose weight. Once you've done that, once you've found out what your calorie deficit is, then I want you to download my MyFitnessPal or the NutriCheck app from the App Store to your mobile phone, and this is where you are going to track your food. This is where you're going to track the nutrition and the food that you are putting into your body each and every single day, and you are going to enter in the calories and macros into this app that my calculator has given you, and then you're going to make sure that you stay within them goals. You're going to adhere to your calorie deficit and hit your protein goal. They're the two main things that I want you to focus on. Yes, carbohydrates matter because they're our body's main source of energy, and fat matters so much as well, especially as a woman from a hormonal and health standpoint. But to get started, I'd say for the first week, don't overwhelm yourself. Let's just get started with tracking calories, getting familiar with the app, weighing food, tracking food, being accurate and consistent with this, staying within the calories and hitting your protein goal, and then we can add on with tracking fat, make sure we're hitting our daily fat goal, and then we can look at making sure we're hitting our carbohydrates. Okay, step number 3 is... Oh yeah, I've just included step number 3 in step number 2, but step number 3 was to start tracking your calories and protein first of all. And if you don't know how to hit your daily protein goal, like, this is the one. Protein is the most important macronutrient when it comes to us losing fat or maintaining our body composition, or just even from a health standpoint, because protein helps keep us satiated. Every single cell in the body is made up of protein, so it's so important that we hit that, because it helps maintain our muscle mass, it helps fill us up and keeps us full for longer, which is what we want when we're in a fat loss phase. We just want to try and minimize that hunger as much as possible. But a lot of people struggle to hit this. So if you don't really know what a 25-gram serving of protein looks like, then this, and I say 25 gram of protein because this is around about what you want to be hitting each meal to sort of spread out your protein evenly throughout the day. But if you don't know what a 25-gram serving of protein looks like, then just email me or message me on Instagram and say send me the list of proteins please, Aim, and I'll send you over a comprehensive list of what a 30-gram serving of protein looks like, and just aim to include one of these in each of your main meals, so breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then you've only got to get some snacks in there, like a high protein snack such as Greek yogurt or a protein shake or a protein bar or some prawns or chicken or whatever it may be, whatever you love and enjoy to hit that daily protein goal. Okay. Or another, when it comes to hitting your protein goal as well, another easy way to do this is take your total daily protein amount. So let's say this is like 120 grams. Divide that by the number of meals that you have per day. So if it's 4 meals consisting of breakfast, lunch, dinner and a snack, then that will end up being 30 gram of protein per meal. And then that way then you know how much protein you need to have per meal. So when you're planning your nutrition for the next day and you're making up your meals, like first things first, I'd look at, right, breakfast, okay, what do I need to have here to get 30 gram of protein or around about that in this meal? And that just makes it easier then to hitting that daily protein goal. Okay, step number 4 is something called volume eating, and this is literally one of the best things that you can do when it comes to losing weight. And volume eating is all about choosing foods that give you a large amount of food for fewer calories, so that you feel fuller and more satisfied without going over your calorie target. And these foods are typically high in water and fibre, like fruits, vegetables, and they're also low in energy density, meaning that you can eat a lot of them without eating a lot of calories. So volume eating helps with making you feel satisfied, it reduces cravings and makes sticking to a calorie deficit so much easier. So if you're thinking of volume eating, you want to be adding, like, if you're having a bowl of porridge in the morning, rather than just having some oats and whey, for example, for your protein, add in 100 gram of strawberries to that meal, and you're adding a lot of volume for literally like 30 calories. And then what is happening then is the combination of complex carbohydrates and the oats paired with the protein from the whey, and then the added fibre from the fruit. This is taking up a lot of space in your stomach and giving you that feeling of fullness, which is going to keep you full for a lot longer than just some oats and whey would. And even with like your lunch and your dinner, just make sure that like at least half your plate is like salad items or vegetables, so you're bulking out your meals and you're making your meals from like a plain chicken and rice, for example, or a little chicken pitta, to now a chicken pitta with a large side salad, or chicken and rice with like 100 to 150 grams of veggies. And this isn't going to add hardly any calories to that meal, but it is going to bulk out that meal and it's going to give you that feeling of fullness. Okay, step 5 is fibre, and I suppose this is sort of along the lines of volume eating as well, but fibre is something that we are all massively lacking in our diet in the UK. Like, we just don't get enough fibre, and fibre is so important for keeping us regular, like going to the toilet, like most, like I'd say daily. We should be all going to the toilet daily who want to be that regular. Helps with our gut microbiome, our gut diversity, and just our gut health overall, to be honest. And a lot of people, they'll say things like, I just don't, like, I can't eat vegetables really because they make me bloated, they make me feel uncomfortable, they make me gassy. And that's just because you don't have enough diversity within your diet for your gut to be able to adapt to this fibre. So when the fibre's coming in, it's having a difficult time breaking it down because it's just not used to it. But you just need to be more frequent with that, with putting more fibre into your diet, and just maybe in smaller, like, frequent amounts. So, but another amazing thing about fibre is that when we pair fibre with protein, it is literally the perfect duo for fat loss, as it fills us up and it keeps us full, which is exactly what we want when we are dieting. So, like I said before, just making sure we are getting in fibre at each meal, at each snack. Even if you're having like a Greek yogurt as a snack, make sure you are adding in like maybe like your strawberries or your kiwi to make that meal more nutrient dense, but also packed with fibre as well. to keep you full. So protein and fibre are the perfect duo for fat loss girls, so just remember that one. Step number 6 is your water intake, and again, a lot of us don't drink enough water, which can massively impact us because a lot of the time we can mistake hunger for thirst. So as a sort of ground rule, we want to be aiming for at least 2 litres of water each day, and just notice how that feels. Like if you're thirsty, drink more. Obviously if it's a warmer day, drink more. If you are doing a lot more exercise and you're sweating, make sure you are rehydrating after them as well. And if you're someone who struggles to actually get water in, then add a little sugar-free Vimto or cordial and ice to actually make it more palatable so you actually drink more. And set yourself targets as well, like maybe aim to drink like a litre of water by 11 or 12 o'clock in the morning, and then the other litre by 5 o'clock. And you want to give yourself a cut-off point, because what you don't want to do is panic at 7 o'clock that you've only drank a litre, and then you try and get another litre in, and then that's too close to bedtime, and then it's waking you up throughout the night. So set yourself targets and try and make sure that you're hitting them targets earlier on in the day. And always have a water bottle with you. Like if you ever see me, I will always have one of these water bottles. For those that listen on a podcast, I'm showing me water bottle on the video, and I'll fill it up twice a day, maybe 3 times sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling, just to get that water in. So important, again, from a hunger standpoint, but also from like a health standpoint as well. Like our bodies are made up of 70% water, so we need to be making sure we are getting that water in to hydrate us. Step number 7, and this is your steps, your daily activity, making sure that you are moving more on a day-to-day basis. And the reason why we set a step goal, it's not a requirement. However, what it does, the reason why we set a step goal is because it's just a very, very easy way of us to burn calories. And when any movement burns calories, so the more we move, the more calories we burn, and the larger calorie deficit we create. So what we want to aim to do is setting a step goal of around 8,000 steps per day. Now if you're already hitting 8,000 and it's pretty easy for you, then you want to push that. And we always want our step goals to be challenging but realistic and achievable. We don't want to set ourselves a realistic step goal of 15,000 steps a day when we're only doing 5 and we're struggling to hit them. So we want to be making sure that our step goal is challenging but it's achievable. So I'd say as a minimum 8,000, but if that's too easy, if you push it to 10, push it to 12. And 8,000 steps a day is equivalent to around like an hour's walking each day. So break this up however you like either go for one big walk in the morning or in the afternoon or the evening, whatever works best for you, or break it up into 2 30-minute walks per day, or even break it up into shorter walks throughout the day. If you're someone who works in an office and you sat down all day, maybe get up and go out first thing in the morning for a 15-minute brisk walk, then set an alarm or a reminder for every hour and walk around for sort of 5 minutes, get a little toilet break. Then on your lunch, maybe take a walk on lunch. If you're on Zoom calls, can you walk around the office? Or if you're on the phone, can you walk around the office? And then do the same after your meals, after your evening meal. And there's something called postprandial exercise, which is basically walking after the meal. As there's so many benefits to that in sort of helping how we digest that food and stabilise our blood sugars and things. So lots of benefits to it. And if you're someone who works from home or you have children and you can't really get out much, then go on YouTube and do a step workout. They're really fun, really easy, and they range from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. So choose one that suits you, but just get your activity in. Keeping your daily activity up is such an easy way to burn calories and keep you in that deficit and up your total daily energy expenditure. Step number 8 is sleep. And it's something we just don't do great as adults, and something I tell all my clients to do is treat yourself as you would a toddler. When you're getting your toddler into a good sleep pattern or a sleep routine, think about how strict you are with that and how consistent you have to be for them to actually get into that routine, then you need to treat yourself like that, because sleep does directly impact fat loss. There's been a study done to show that people who sleep less actually lose more muscle mass and less body fat than those who actually get enough sleep and who get like quality sleep each night. And then obviously when we don't sleep enough, it does impact our appetite. Our hunger hormones are elevated, so we're hungrier more, we have more cravings for them sort of quick fix sugary carbohydrates just to give us that hit of energy. Then also our bodies aren't signaling to us like how full we are, like that is sort of lowered as well, so we haven't got that signaling. And then obviously energy goes down, productivity goes down, mood, motivation, productivity, and even recovery as well. And then also cortisol is elevated. So sleep is such an important part of this to make creating a calorie deficit more manageable. So I would aim to be in bed for 10 and asleep by 10:30 at the latest, but making sure an hour prior to that you are winding down, like no screens, no blue light, because blue light down regulates melatonin, which is the hormone required to basically signal us to go to sleep. So making sure your phone's on charge outside the room, making sure you're winding down and sticking with your evening routine, maybe supplement with magnesium, getting a shower, getting in bed, doing a brain dump, journaling, maybe doing a little breath work, little meditation, but just preparing the body and mind for a good quality night's sleep. Step number 9 is tracking your progress. So what I'd recommend you do is decide what day you're going to start this calorie deficit, and I would weigh yourself, take your pictures, take your measurements of like your chest, your waist, your hips, thighs, arms, and keep a log of this. And then I would recommend that you weigh in each and every single morning. So jump on the scales, leave the scales exactly where they are, because we want them to be in the same place every day, because if we move them around sometimes it can affect the scale weight. So leave them in a place where you can just jump on them every morning. Jump on the scales with minimal clothing, after you've been to the toilet, before you've eaten or drank anything, and just take your weight and log it as data for every single day. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us an accurate view of what your weight's doing across the week, because if you only weigh in Monday to Monday, what can actually be happening is on a Monday, so let's say you weigh on a Monday and then you weigh on the following Monday and your weight stayed the same when it's gone up, you might panic and think, oh my god, like I've done everything right, I've hit my calories, I've done my steps, I've even done some workouts, and the scales haven't budged and they've gone up, like what am I doing wrong? When in reality what could have actually happened was the scales have started coming down Monday to Saturday, and then for whatever reason the scales have jumped up again over the weekend, because your cycle's due on Tuesday, and then you're panicking thinking that there's something wrong, when in fact there's not. You've actually been losing weight, but because you've only weighed once, it's only giving you that one piece of data. Whereas if you're weighing every single day, we can actually see the fluctuations that are happening each and every single day, which is completely normal. Your weight's always going to fluctuate, even when you're being perfect, due to carbohydrates, hormones, stress, dehydration, sleep, how late you ate the night before, digestion. There's so many factors that are at play when it comes to the scales and the fluctuations. The more you can weigh in, the more data we have to see what your weight's doing, and what we want to see is that your weight is coming down over time. You want to see that on a downward trend. So yeah, some days it'll stay the same, some days it might go up, but what we will see is by the end of the week it will start to come down. And if it doesn't, then we adjust the calorie deficit. That's all, that simple. And then step number 10 is probably one of the most important ones, and it's make sure that you include something you love and enjoy within your calories each and every single day to make this journey sustainable. Don't cut anything out, don't restrict or deprive yourself, because this will lead to rebellion later on down the line. And I see people just making fat loss so much harder than it needs to be for themselves. So just as long as you stay within your calories, you make sure that 80-90% of your calories come from nutrient-dense, single ingredient, whole foods that are going to provide you with nourishment. You hit your daily protein goal, you focus on fibre, volume eating, getting your water in and staying active day to day, and you get a good amount of sleep per night. This is enough for you to create a calorie deficit and drop body fat. But just make sure that 10 to 20% of your calorie intake is coming from the food you love and enjoy, to curb your cravings or to make this journey enjoyable for the long term. Because we don't want to be, if you look at this and think, oh God, there's not a chance I can do this for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 3 months even, then it's not right. And this journey should be sustainable. It should be something that you love and enjoy and it makes you feel good, otherwise you're not going to stick to it. So these are my 10 steps to you losing your first 10 pounds. And if you stick with this, then you create a calorie deficit and you be consistent with this and you do all of these steps to making a calorie deficit more manageable and more sustainable, then you will drop body fat. So I want you to email me or drop me a message on Instagram saying 10 steps to 10 pounds, so I know who's listening to this, I know who's going to follow these exact steps to get results, and then I can check in with you and offer any support and also hold you accountable to that. So nice short and sweet episodes for you all today. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to try and stick with these little mini bite-sized episodes of education. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know. But have a gorgeous day and I will see you in the next one.